Well, as one of the most hotly contested and debated MVP races comes to an end with only 10 games remaining in the 2024-2025 NBA season, with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander all but an absolute lock to capture his first league MVP, with Nikola Jokic finishing second for the second time in the last 5 seasons to go along with his 3 first-place finishes over that time. Some might be thinking this is possibly the biggest MVP snub ever. Now, sure, of course, some Gen Zers would no doubt throw in LeBron's loss to Derrick Rose in 2010-2011. No doubt Kobe's 2005-2006 abomination at the hands of Steve Nash would come up as well, and, well, any one of about 5 seasons when Jordan was unequivocally robbed. But the 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic has just laid down what is easily and undeniably his best season of his own individual career. Yes, he is setting to become just the 3rd player in league history to average a triple-double while sitting at 3rd league-wide in scoring, 2nd in assists, 3rd in rebounds, and 5th in steals. But as egregious as some might find this, the primary reason, of course, SGA will be your 2025 winner is those 67-ish wins the Thunder are tracking towards, while the Nuggets are going to nestle in right around the 50-win mark. But what if I were to tell you another historically dominant big has an even bigger snub than Jokic is trending for this season? Of course, we are talking about the legendary mutant alien Wilt Chamberlain, the dude who broke the NBA record books all the way back in the 1960s and essentially rendered all individual statistics moot, made everything a caveat or an asterisk, the quote, "well, except for Wilt" tagline that accompanies mostly any statistical discussions today. Yeah, that guy's marquee season in 1961-62 did not result in Wilt winning a league MVP. In fact, it wasn't even close. That season, Wilt averaged 50 points per game for an entire season. In that season alone, Chamberlain dropped 28 50-point games. For reference, Jordan had 31 for his entire career, while Kobe, 25 for his entire career. And those two are 2nd and 3rd all-time in NBA history in 50-point games, behind, of course, Wilt at 1. And Wilt nearly eclipsed them both in just one season. And in that season, Wilt's 11 60-point games were nearly double Kobe Bryant's 6 for his career, which is the 2nd most ever, again behind Wilt. And those 11 games, just in the 61-62 season alone. The Big Dipper also dropped a 78-pointer, which ranks 3rd all-time behind Kobe's 81, and then, of course, also in that season in 1961-62, Wilt's famed 100-point game in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Chamberlain's 4,029 points that season is the most by far in any single season ever, behind his own 3,586 points the very next season in 62-63. And checking in at 3rd on that list, Michael Jordan's 3,041-point season in 1986-87. So Wilt's 61-62 season was nearly 1,000 points better than Jordan's best scoring season ever. But it wasn't just about points that year for Wilt. Of course, the NBA didn't officially track blocks or steals that year, so there's no telling where Wilt would have finished there and how obscene his blocks per game would have looked, but spoiler alert, it would have been obscene, just like his rebounding totals and averages, both of which also led the league that year. How does 25.6 rebounds per game grab you? Yes, so Wilt averaged 50 and 25 per game and lost the league MVP that season. But wait, that's not it. While there was no such thing as value over replacement or box plus minus, they were tracking player efficiency rating back then, and Wilt's 32.08 that season is the second best ever, behind only the advanced metric king Nikola Jokic and his 32.85 season in 2021-2022. So just how the hell did Wilt not win MVP this season, you might be wondering? Well, because of course Bill Russell won more games. And does this sound familiar? That season in question, Russell's Celtics won 60 games. But it wasn't just the 60-win total that did it for the voters that season. It was the fact the 1961-62 Celtics were the first team to ever win 60 games. And that was the sole reason Russell, who averaged 19 points, 24 rebounds, and 4.5 assists, beat out Wilt, who again averaged 50.5 points, 25.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists per game for league MVP. Oh, and that was while Wilt outshot Russell from the field 51% to 46%. But that 11-game discrepancy in win totals, 60 for Russell's Celtics, 49 for Chamberlain's Philadelphia Warriors, was the difference in costing Wilt this season's MVP. Now, unfortunately, there was no such thing as on-off or net rating back then to hash out who actually added more points and value to their team like there is today. But they were tracking win shares in that season, and Chamberlain's 23.1 not only dwarfed Russell's 15.5 in that season, but that 23.1 win share figure by Wilt in 61-62 is the fourth best of all time. And frankly, even if they did track on-off or net rating back then, it wouldn't really matter since Wilt was never off of the floor. Like, literally. This alien played in every single one of his team's 80 games that season while averaging 48.5 minutes a night. And yes, there were still only 48 minutes a game back then, but the Warriors played in 7 overtime games that season, allowing Wilt to average more than 48 per game because he played in every single second of his team's games that year. Yes, he did not miss a single second. The voting, though, was not close, with Russell taking in 51 first-place votes to Chamberlain's mere 9, with the overall tally sitting at 297 to 152 in favor of Bill. And of course, Russell's loaded Celtics would go on to beat Chamberlain's Warriors in the second round of the playoffs that season en route to the Celtics winning the NBA title that year. And all of this sounds pretty much exactly how this 2025 NBA season is going to play out. And along the way to get there in both seasons, the two most individually statistically dominant bigs ever will also be getting dished out historical robberies of the MVP award. I guess though, as the saying goes, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And to learn more on the MVP award, its history, and just what this season's win for Shea and snub for Jokic would mean from a historical perspective, you can check out this video right now and make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with more from me. Until next time.